All right, and welcome back once again, everyone, to Phase 1, Session 1, Beginner Users, Transaction Desk Basics. My name is Jessica, and I'm going to be your trainer as we explore Transaction Desk. All right, so the topics that we're going to be covering today is accessing your Transaction Desk account. We are also going to be exploring Transaction Desk support and areas of help. These are really some key areas I'm going to hone in on today. Navigation bar, I'm going to take a look at that and where all your categories are. We are also going to view the dashboard views and understanding the wizard. The wizard really is a guide and a 5-step process to help you create those transactions inside Transaction Desk. I'm also going to show you how to customize your dashboard. That's a pretty cool feature and tool. Creating a template today, and then creating a transaction and applying it to that template. We're also going to be adding documents to a transaction. And we also are going to be exploring the form tools. So quite a bit that we're going to be covering today. Again, this is going to be recorded and you will receive those recordings at the email address that you provided us when you registered for today's webinar. All right, so as always, we're going to log into our account today. You can do that by typing in www.transactiondesk.com/login. Or you'll know best how to actually sign into your account. Sometimes it is through the state MLS or your association as well. So again, I'm going to pause my screen and bring down my login page. And this way we can log in together. So just moving some things behind the scenes here. All right, so everybody should be able to see my login screen. And from here, I'm going to type in my email address or select it for myself and type in my password. If you did forget either one of these settings, you do need to click on Forgot Username or Password, and that'll help reestablish those for you. All right, I'm going to click Sign In. And as soon as we sign in, we are landing on the the agent dashboard. So on the agent dashboard, if I move directly over to the right, we're going to come across this icon that looks like a TV box. So the TV box with the question box is going to explain how you can do certain things. There is an area that actually collects all of these videos together in one spot, and I'm going to show you where you can access all of those short videos. But just know every time you come across a TV icon box with a question mark, that's actually going to show you short videos on that specific screen that you're on. Once again, I'm going to show you the area where all of those videos do reside, but just know when you're working on a particular screen and you see that TV box, it's going to show you videos pertaining to that specific topic. So as you can guess, we are in the agent dashboard. It would give me some videos on the agent dashboard. To the right of this, we do have two people. Now, I know a lot of you aren't seeing this, but I am working off of a super user account. So the super user account does allow the individual to work from a broker's dashboard versus an independent agent account. So right now it is set to individual agent account, and this is what all of you should be viewing. But for anyone that was just curious as what this was, I'm just giving you a brief description. To the right of this, we have the padlock. This is going to allow you to lock and unlock your dashboard. I'm going to unlock this right now. And once I do, we are going to see a drop-down menu appear with some more boxes here. Now, this is how you can customize your agent dashboard. And someone is saying, I have you're stuck on your screen. Okay, if it's stuck, there might be a delay. If there's not, and again, too, if anyone loses their audio today, what I need you to do is log off and log back in. 99% of the time, that does correct any issues that you are having. I do have some screens at the end that give you some numbers for any technical support or issues that you're incurring. But during the webinar, if that does happen, just log off and log back in, and that usually corrects the situation. All right, wanted to get that in before anyone else caught out there. Okay, so on your agent dashboard, unlocking that padlock is going to allow you access to customize this portion of the transaction desk. This is, again, your agent dashboard. And what this really allows you to do is have easy access and quick shortcuts into certain areas that you want to get into once you're in Transaction Desk. A lot of times you'll want to move these widgets on the top or these boxes down into this area. And again, majority of those times when you're moving things, it is going to be things that you maybe use a lot of. So I can pretty much guess that I'm going to use transactions quite a bit while I'm using Transaction Desk. So I'll probably want to utilize this in this area. So again, I just got rid of it. And if I go back up onto top or on the top to this house icon, and whoop, that's not the one I just moved. Let's find our widget. Oh, for creating a transaction. We're going to click this and then drop it down. So once I've done that, we're now going to see the creation area for that transaction. And then I can actually move this and make it bigger or smaller by clicking on the green arrow or the green triangle in the corner here. So you can move these widgets around in your agent dashboard to customize it. And again, maybe I don't want facts down there, but I believe you can move down 8 of those boxes in this area. Just know anything that is blue is going to indicate the widgets are associated with something to do, like an action item. Anything that's in a green box, and I'm going to slide this over, is going to indicate that these widgets are informational. And anything that you see that is gray is going to indicate that it's already been clicked and dragged down to this big open space area. So once again, coming in here, creating a transaction, it gives me a shortcut to actually just click on that and create a transaction. Anything as I move, you'll be able to see I'm moving over to transactions and they're turning from blue to green. Anything that changes over from the color blue to green is going to be clickable. So I can click right on this transaction and it'll actually take me directly into that specific transaction. Same with checklists, your transactions over here, forms that maybe you just want to view. If you just want to view forms, you'll be able to take a shortcut into your forms area and find the one that you want and click on it. So a really neat area, again, shortcuts, paths that you can click on to get you access into other categories within the platform itself. And again, you can always move these up and down and anywhere you want. Same with the sorting feature. If I click the up and down, it's going to allow me to sort maybe my transactions by name, even the closing dates. So I can organize this individually if I want to. You do want to make sure when you leave this area and you have created your agent dashboard and organized it and structured it the way you want it, you want to make sure you go right back to that padlock and lock it again. This will ensure that nobody will be able to mess around with your widgets in this area, and it just makes them solid in your agent dashboard area. So once again, you just want to unlock it. You can move things and lock it back up when they're done. It locks all your settings for you. Moving over, I'm going to bring your attention to this question bubble on the far left-hand corner of your screen. It's right underneath that lone wolf guy. If I click on this bubble for help, it's going to launch you into our help area. The help area is a really good resource. It gives you a contact us by phone number here. We do ask that you do call. It is 24 hours a day, but to get the best resolution time, you do want to make sure you're calling during business hours. If you want to email us any questions, you can do that by clicking on tdsupport@lwolf.com. And underneath that, we do have live support. Clicking live support will allow you to start text messaging somebody back and forth. So clicking on this 24 hours a day, you'll get a live person and they'll be able to help you with any questions. The online training. This is a really good resource here. Online training, if I click this, is going to give you access into the live training webinars we have on a weekly and daily basis. Click accept there. what you would do is click on online training, and that's going to take you right inside of the calendar. From there, you can register for the webinars that you're interested in sitting and attending on. All right, so I'm going to move back under there. And of course, we have our help feedback bubble. So again, if we love hearing back from all of you, if you have any feedback about the platform or any changes that you'd like to see, make sure you are clicking that send feedback bubble here. Someone is messaging me. I'm assuming since I am a broker, they log in to access all transactions, question mark. So if you are a broker, you do want to make sure that you have this defaulted to individual agent account. That is what I am training off of today. We do have other webinars designated specifically for brokers and how to actually use and set up accounts and whatnot. But for today, if I go back up to my dashboard, again, if you switch to the broker view, that's going to give you the broker view. And then if you click on it again, it's going to give you an agent's view. Yep, so someone's saying admin transaction coordinator access. Yep, so clicking on this is going to allow this individual to work as a broker or broker admin. All right, so again, I am working off of an individual agent account today. So if you want to follow along, you might want to go ahead and click on this icon one more time, and that will switch you over to what the agents are viewing. All right, so back on our question bubble here. Right underneath there, I do have guides. I have some people who don't like to watch videos. Maybe you don't like to even listen to them. These guides are a helpful tool. They are PDF documents, and then you'll be able to read certain categories and topics. So again, clicking on guides, it's going to show you how many documents we do have in this area. And then from there, you can read how to accomplish certain things within your transaction desk. If I click on the question bubble again, we're going to move to the help videos. Now, as I mentioned before, that nice TV box icon with the question mark, this area under the help tab is going to allow you to view all of those videos that are consolidated in one area. So as you move through the platform, you're going to see in your screen that TV icon, and from there it will tell you or show you short videos. I believe most of them are less than 5 minutes long on that specific topic. In your help area, this will give you access to all of the areas. So again, if you're not sure what area, you can also see how many videos by the blue bubble that resides next to the word or the category you're researching. You'll be able to watch videos in this area as well. So maybe documents, you can see we have 22 short videos on those particular documents. All right, going back to our help bubble. All right, so that was help videos. Underneath there, say you don't have time or you have a dentist appointment, you got to leave and you can't sit here with me for the rest of the time being. That's okay. We have pre-recorded webinar videos as well. So if you want to rewatch this video, it probably will be a different presenter or a different person, but you can click on pre-recorded webinar videos. And from here, you can select what video that you want to see just to view and learn. All right. But once again, everybody will be receiving a recording of today's webinar, and those will be sent out to the email address that you provided us with when you registered for today's webinar. So that is one way to access the help area. There's a few other locations to access the same spot. I'm going to move your attention over to the bottom right-hand portion of your screen. You'll see this blue circle with this stack of pancakes I like to call. If I click on it, it is going to open up 3 red bubbles. Now the first one is help. Again, we see the help bubble. If I click on that, it's going to launch me right into our help area. So again, blue help bubble, and then over to the stack of pancakes, we have our red help bubble. Once more, they're going to take you to the same area, which is right here under your help. Directly above on the upper left-hand portion, we see these green stack of pancakes. It's kind of gross, but nonetheless, if I click on this, it is going to expand what we call our navigation bar. So if I click it again, we're only going to see those icons, but if I expand it, it is going to tell me what those icons stand for. So right in the beginning, we landed on the agent dashboard. I'm going to open that up one more time. And now we're going to move over to this house, our transactions. If I click on transactions, it's going to show me all of the transactions that I've created within TransactionDesk. So all the way on top, we see transactions, and then we have a search box here. You can also change the view of this screen. Right now, it is in our list mode, but if I click on these four squares, it is going to drop everything into what we call our grid mode. So just a different layout. I do visually like the grid mode better, but I did, however, train off listing. So I'm a little privy to the list mode myself. But to the right of that, we do have filter. So if I click on the filter area, let's say you're working in transactions and you're seeing all the transactions for listings, for your purchases, but you really just want to maybe see a particular type of transaction. If I click on the filter, it is going to allow me to select, maybe I want to see all of my closed transactions. So if I click on closed and then click apply, it's only going to show me those transactions that are closed. Now, what if I want to see all my transactions again? Well, we'll have to move back up to the filter and then deselect that closed button. Again, you can see it says owners and we do have it on all. Keeping it on all is going to, once again, and I hit apply, it's going to reveal all of the transactions that I've created. To the right of that, the up and down arrows, again, sorting. Maybe you have a certain way that you want to shuffle around or sort your transactions, maybe transaction types, maybe the name or even the closing date or by listing date. Next, we have this basket. Now we see that it is this light gray color. That's because it's inactive right now. I'm going to come back to this basket in just a few moments and show you what this does and how it does start to light up here. To the right, we have the Add Plus button. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Transaction Desk, but anytime you're creating anything or adding documents or adding folders, you always want to look for that Add Plus button. That's pretty repetitive on almost every screen you're going to go into when you want to add something or create it. Someone is asking me, can you import a transaction from Forms Simplicity? You know what, that's a great question. I'm not sure. I can, as I move through the platform, hopefully I'll be able to answer your question, maybe by demonstrating something. If not, I will make sure that I respond back to you with the email address that you provided me with today, okay? All right, so creating the transaction once more, and then of course we have that TV icon once more with the question mark. So if I had a question pertaining to a transaction, I can click on this How Do I TV box and it will show me all the videos for transaction. All right, so coming back to this basket, the basket you can look at is doing things in bulk. So let's say maybe you have a few transactions in this area that you want to delete, but you don't want to delete them individually. Or maybe you want to change the status of a few transactions, maybe to all of them to active. This is what the basket's going to allow you to do. So if I move to these circles, I can start selecting those transactions that maybe I want to do something in bulk with. So as I start clicking those circles, we're noticing the basket lights up and it's indicating that I have 3 transactions that I'm putting into this basket. So once I'm done selecting those transactions, I'm going to come up to the basket and I have 3. I'm going to click on it. Once I click on the baskets, it's going to show me all of the transactions that I have selected in my transactions area. Now, maybe I want to change the status to all of these to be closed or active. I can click on this flag and I'll be able to change all of these at the same time. If I want to delete these transactions, I would simply click the trash can. Now you'll notice there's a circle with a minus. Maybe I accidentally got this 15800 South Airport Road transaction on here and I didn't need it. I'll just go ahead and get rid of it from the list. So once again, Now I have 2 items in my area. So think of your basket as doing things in bulk. And I have another question. Someone is asking, does TransactionDesk update the status of transactions when it is updated in the MLS, active or pending? No, you would have to do that, and I'll be able to show you where that's located. Status is always very important. You want to make sure you're paying attention to the statuses within your transactions because you can move those statuses as well. You're welcome. Someone is asking, are you permanently deleted? If you select, let's just say these transactions and I go to the basket, if I click on the trash can, yes, I am permanently deleting them from my transaction area. If I click that remove item, it's literally just removing it from the ones I selected, and that's not going to be deleted permanently. Really, the trash can is permanent. All right, so if I just click on those, it's literally just putting them from this list and adding them back down below. So again, I'm going to get rid of those, and you can see if you're select what transactions you're selecting by clicking that circle. Now, if you wanted to delete, let's say, a transaction individually, you'll notice that there are these, I guess I call them ellipsis, but snowman, right? Because I'm in Michigan. If I click on this ellipsis here and open it, a menu box is going to appear. So within this transaction, I can go to the transaction dashboard. And I know that sounds a little weird because we just viewed our agent dashboard, right? Transactions also have their own individual dashboard, which is actually nice. I'll show you what that looks like too. Again, if you want to delete maybe this specific, let's just select this. Yep, individual transactions, once again, if we select it, we are going to move right up to that basket and then click on that item to just delete. All right, so moving over to the ellipsis once more. Again, we can always see the details of that transaction, contacts, forms, our documents within the transaction, checklists. If you did create a checklist and apply it to a transaction, we'll be able to see that checklist here, along with tasks and signing and history. Now, I just want to make it clear, checklists and tasks do go hand in hand. The whole purpose of a checklist is so that you are dotting your I's and crossing your T's as you're moving through your transaction. We don't cover that in this webinar, but I just wanted to let you know that in our other webinars, we do go over how you can create a checklist for maybe particular tasks that you want to be handled and completed. Maybe you need to get the carpets cleaned and you want your agents to, click that off or check it off. You'll be able to do that right in this area by creating a checklist. All right, but once again, we're not going to be covering that today. And I'm just going to look up really quickly. Looks like I'm getting a couple more questions. Someone is saying, what do you recommend when a property has many contacts? I have multiple copies of the same documents, but different buyers. Or should I just start a new one for each buyer? I was afraid to duplicate. No, actually, when you create a template, and we're going to do that today, templates are those time-saving packets of information. And the whole purpose of a template is so that you can repurpose it over multiple transactions. Within the template itself, you can actually create, because I know there are sometimes more than one person buying a house and you need to add them on. There's a spot inside of the template that you can create contacts and make it like empty. So when you apply that template to a transaction, you'll be able to start adding those buyers to the transaction within those empty cells that you'll see on the template. I hope that makes sense too. Someone is saying, what about the legality of keeping documents? Isn't there a liability for the broker if the agent deleted documents or transactions? You know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm not a broker. I'm not even a realtor. I just train on the platform, so I don't really know the whole legal aspect of those particular documents. So you might want to check with someone at your association or check with the state associations as well, or even if you're an agent, maybe even your broker admin. Someone saying there is something wrong with the audio. I can't follow. It's like digital sound. Oh no. Okay. For the person that just said that, if you can still hear me, I need you to log off and log back in. That 99% of the time does correct the audio that you're hearing. All right, sorry that you are having some issues, but try that for me and hopefully that will correct it. If not, you will be getting the recording for this. Okay, so moving on our navigation bar, we do have our signers right there. Nice little pen. This is AuthentiSign. This is the signing option for TransactionDesk. I don't have anything in this area. Again, we do not cover that in this particular webinar. Please make sure you check out the live training to ensure that you can get in on the AuthentiSign. But this is where you would find it when you are creating e-signing packets. Moving below that, we do have forms. Now, the forms is going to show you all of your forms from your All Forms library. So inside my forms, if I click on View Individual Forms, I can see all of my libraries that I have access to. Once again, I'm in the state of Michigan, so you're going to see some Michigan stuff here. But if I clicked on Greater Lansing Association of Realtors and expand that, it's now going to show me all of the forms that I have access to. So you can see all of those forms here. Once again, I can select all of these if I want, and I have that ellipsis menu. I can preview these documents. I can also look for new, download, and I can also print these forms as well. I want to be very careful when I'm saying documents and forms in this area because the next area is documents, and there is a difference. Your forms are your forms from your internal All Forms library. To the right of that, we do have that TV set once again with the question mark. So if you have any questions, you want to make sure you're clicking on this to run a short video on maybe a topic you're interested in learning about. You can also sort your forms as well by clicking this by name. And then of course you can print these forms out. All right, so I'm gonna click on back to home here. And then again, in your forms area, individual forms, it's going to take you right into your All Forms library. And then your transaction forms, a little bit different. It's going to show you the transactions that you have within TransactionDesk, and it's going to show you those particular forms for that particular transaction. So if you have transactions that are open and you come to your forms area, you'll be able to click on that particular transaction and view the forms that you have inside of it. Moving back up to the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to come down on documents. So again, I was very careful, right, with that wording, forms, documents. Forms are your forms from your internal All Forms library. Moving down on my navigation bar, I'm now going to open and click on documents. And I do have a question, so I'm going to read that before I continue. Someone is saying, but if I go to the properties documents where there are 4 signed seller disclosures because the deal fell apart, is there an easy way for me to only see the current set of documents, not the ones that are done, failed? Yep, so you would really want to check out the AuthentiSign signing process because all of the forms that you include to go out to signing will be in a packet that you create. You can also click within using AuthentiSign's tools. There's actually text boxes that you can click and drag within those forms for spots to have signed. But within the packet, you will be able to see all of those forms. I use it. Okay. I'm just gonna flag your question and I will come back to it at the end of the webinar. Hopefully I'll be able to give you a more detailed answer, but I do have to move. We have quite a few bits still to cover here. Oh, and I am not currently correctly asking. I need to call someone. Okay. All right, I do have some numbers too at the very end, but I'll stick around at the end too for sure. Okay. Documents, dun, 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 a little bit different than forms, right? So documents are going to be all of your internal, not internal. These are going to be any documents that you pull from an outside source. So maybe you have a PDF saved on your computer. You want to pull that onto the platform. This is where you'll be able to do that in your documents area. So if I click Inbox folder, it's going to show me all of the documents that I have pulled onto TransactionDesk. I'm going to move from documents. There again is our search box, and then we have the sort feature. Again, this is going to help you sort through name, click on that, date created, and last modified. We also in this area have that nice basket once again. So maybe you have a few documents that you don't need in this area and you want to delete them all in bulk. You can do that by clicking the circle and deselecting or selecting those individual documents that you want to delete in bulk. Again, clicking on this circle is going to select all of your items that you have below. We're not going to do that. And then if you need to add a document, you can do that by clicking the Add Plus button. I'm going to come back to this and show you how to do that in just a moment. But under Back to Home, again, clicking on the Inbox folder is going to show you all of your documents that you've pulled onto TransactionDesk. My folder, if you've created folders and you need to pull those on to TransactionDesk as well, you would come to this area and be able to do that. Shared documents, this is something we cover in our advanced webinars, but again, you can also share documents. And then transaction folders. If you have folders that you have assigned to a specific transaction and you want to see those folders, you would simply click on transaction folders and it would show you all of those folders that you have applied to transactions. Okay, so going back into our inbox folder, I'm going to show you how you can add a document to this area. If I go to the Add Plus once more, always looking for that Add Plus when we're creating or adding anything new. I have a few options. I can add a new document, or I can create a new Instanet fax, or I can create a fax back cover sheet. I'm not doing the last two options because I'm really just showing you how you can add documents to your documents area. So if I click on Create or Add New Document, this launchpad for creating a new document appears. Now, to the right, I have Upload from your device or computer. Or if you need to use maybe your Google Drive, you've a document there that you want to pull onto the platform, you can use any of these cloud source providers below. To the right of that, I have email upload. Now this is very important because you have two emails. This one in particular in your documents area gives you, we see Susie sells a lot at, or .1@transactiondesk.com. If you use this email address to another individual and they email it back to you, then that email and that document maybe that they've attached to it will be dropped right into your documents area. So again, this particular email address is for your documents area. It's great if you want to utilize it in terms of getting forms or documents from a colleague or maybe a buyer or a seller. You can give them this particular email address within your documents area, and those documents will be found right in this area below. All right, and then you also have your contact card as well. We'll come to contacts a little bit later as we move on the navigation bar. But let's say I want to add that document. I'm going to add it by clicking Add New Document. And now I'm going to click on Drag and Drop Files here. So if I click this, again, we're going to see all of my documents here. And I just want to find, this is some of my content that I use for building a contact list. I'm going to go to, I think it is, there we go. Let's say I need to add a document from an outside source, right? I'm going to click on this home inspection report and I'm going to open it. You can see that it is uploading onto the platform, and right below we have our home inspection report PDF. So again, if I open this, it's going to show me I have 1 out of 3 documents here. All right, and again, I'm going to move out of here for just a second. Again, if I want to select this, I can do that, or if clicking the menu option, it is going to give me more options to view this particular document, print it, download it, delete it, rename it, send, move, all these nice tools. We even have the slice and markup. I'm going to show you what this is. So if I click slice and markup, maybe I don't want to send or share all of these pages within this document. Maybe I want to slice them up. So if I click on slice, it's going to pull up that home inspection report. Now, what if I only want to send this first page? What I can do is just select the other two forms and then move up to delete, right? And it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to delete these two forms? And I'm going to say yes to confirm this. So now I've sliced that particular document. Instead of 3 forms, it's now down to 1. So if I want to send only the 1 form to a client, I now have that. Now, if I move up to save, it's going to ask me, do I want to save or save as? I'm going to select Save As, and when I do that, it's going to ask me to rename this document. I highly recommend that you do because the original document is still there. We haven't done anything with it. This is really going to give you 2 versions of that particular document, the original and then the one we sliced up. So if I name it, I'll click on Modify Home Report. And the reason I clicked on it is because I have typed this before and it's coming up as a suggestion. So I'm going to name my home inspection report, Modify Home Inspection Report. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Save. And it says that my document has been saved successfully. Now let's say I want to get out of this area. I want to try to close, right? I'm going to get out of here, move to far left, click Close. But now this other window appears that says Confirm. This last box is important because it's saying, do you want to save the changes? Well, you're like, Jessica, didn't we just do that? Kind of. Now it's asking you, do you want to save these changes to the original? And my answer is going to be no. If you're comfortable and don't want the original document there, you can simply click on yes. But if I click on no, you can see below that I have my home inspection report, that original document still, and we have the 3 pages. And if I click below or scroll down, I'm going to see modified home inspection report. So if I click on this, I'm now going to see that one that we sliced up. So you just want to make sure that you're answering those questions and paying attention because you sometimes don't want to lose those original documents within this area. All right, that was just my little trick here today. Once again, inbox, my folder, shared documents, and then that's transaction folders. I'm going to move up to the stack of pancakes again and click on Broker Tools. Now, I'm not going to cover Broker Tools today, but I know it is here and everyone's going to be questioning, so I'm just going to keep with the order. I'm going to click on Broker Tools, but just know that your broker admin or administrators do have access to help you along with building your TransactionDesk platform so they can help with you transaction transfers, office transactions, basically setting up all of your activities that you'll be able and have access to on TransactionDesk. Underneath that, we do have our tasks area. Tasks is going to show you all of your tasks within TransactionDesk. These again correlate with our checklist. So if you've created a checklist, you'll be able to come to the task area and see all of those tasks within the platform. Now, I'm not going to go too much more into detail about this because I don't want to confuse anybody, but even if you're working inside of a transaction and you need to add a task, you would certainly be able to add tasks to those transactions as well. But just know all of your tasks in this area would be applied to a checklist. Yep, someone saying they don't have broker tool. That's fine. You probably won't see it because again, I am working off of a super user account, but training for individual agent account. But I just wanted to explain that because it is on my screen and that is what you're seeing. So no worries. It just means that you're not using a super user account. All right, contacts. So coming to our contacts area, again, moving past our search bar, we come to that nice filter. So if I click filter, I'll be able to filter these out, maybe by just my own contacts, my agent. But again, if I keep it on all contacts, it's going to show me everything. I can also sort my contacts by the name. Maybe you want to change it up alphabetical order. And then we have our nice basket to do things in bulk. By selecting this circle on the very top, it is going to select everybody below, and we don't want to do that. But moving on to the Add Plus, if I wanted to add a contact to this area, I can create a new contact or even add contacts from my Google contact area. Zipform does have or not Zipform, Transaction Desk does have a lot of integrations and nice features. So again, I'm not going to go into this, but if you do have a Google contact list, we do have an integration that will allow you to bring those contacts into this contact area. Again, moving over to the ellipsis, maybe you're viewing a particular contact. If I click that menu, it's going to allow me to edit or email that individual or even delete them individually as well. Great. Moving on my green stack of pancakes, we have our partners. Again, I just mentioned that Transaction Desk does have a number of partner integrations. These are available to offer products and services and designed to really help increase your efficiency and profitability. So please make sure that you do check out some of our partners here. Underneath partners, we have settings on the navigation bar. Settings, as you can see, has a lot of information. Now, I can't go through every single one of these today, but again, if I move below, there are two really that I'm going to bring your attention to. But if you want to come to your settings area, just clicking on the gear will allow you to change your preferences, your program settings, notifications, clauses, things like that. The two things I'm going to bring to your attention, can you guess? One's going to be the support button on the very bottom. There's a third way to access that help tab. Once more, if I click support, it's going to launch me into the help area. So again, you can always run those short videos or review those guides, get live support, email us, and then again, there is that contact phone number. So just to make sure you guys get it there, we want to make sure we are clicking on that help bubble and then over to the blue stack of pancakes, we click on our red help bubble and then support on the settings area is going to take you right into our help area. Clicking back on my gear, I'm going to move on up to our transaction templates. If you want to create a template, this is where you would access the creation part of your template. Now I do have a few more buttons here on the navigation bar. Again, we went over that help bubble a few times now. And then of course, if you want to log out of the transaction desk, you can do that by clicking log out. I am going to move on and create a transaction template today. So we're going to go under our settings area and click on transactions template. All right, so once I've done that, we can see the transaction templates that I've created here. And we are going to create a template today. So I'm going to move over to that new plus button. All right, so once I've done that, I do see some questions. I apologize, but I do have to keep moving. I will stay after to answer those questions, so I promise. All right, so once we create our add plus, we get the create launchpad appear, and we do need to create what type of transaction today. So again, I'm going to keep this on personal. That's the type of transaction or transaction template I'm creating. If you did have access to other offices, you would click on office, but it is personal. So I'm going to keep it on personal, and then we do have to name our template. Many times people name their template that's going to be associated with the transaction that they're going to create. So you can name your template anything that you want. Maybe it's going to be a purchase template. Maybe it's going to be a listing template. I'm going to, just to keep things simple, name this July 2020. And then I am going to select what type of template I'm creating. So once again, I'm going to move down and select residential sale today. You can also write yourself a description in this area for your template. So I'm going to click on save. And then that's going to launch me right inside the shell of our template. So we can already see the details that we've put into our template here. If you needed to change any of these fields, you would simply click on that field. And then when you're done making that change, click update. Clicking the up arrow is just going to shorten that box. I'm going to move on to checklists. And if I expand that box, we're going to see that it is empty. I do have a few checklists, but once more, I'm not going to go into detail about checklists, but if you did have one, you would click on that plus, and then you would be able to simply check on the checklist that you want to apply to this template. All right, closing that, I'm going to open up our contacts. So we can see that our contacts are empty. Now, the whole purpose of a template is so that we can repurpose it over multiple transactions. So putting in as much information as possible on these templates is going to save you time when you get to your transaction part, because you won't have to keep repeatedly typing in the same information over and over again. A lot of times, contact information will change, maybe your buyer or seller. So you want to fill out anything really that's non-buyer specific to your template, so that it'll make it easier when you come to the transaction and most of the details are already filled out in your template. So what I like to do when I'm creating a template and adding contacts is I'll move over to the Add Contacts button. Now again, we have three options. We can create a new contact, create an empty contact, or add an existing contact. Because this is a template, I'm just going to move up to create new contact. Because again, that information will change from transaction to transaction. So if I select the type, I can put buyer. And then right now I don't have, whoop, I actually want to close out of here and move back up there. And I apologize. I'm not going to create a new contact because again, templates are something we want to repurpose and the buyer's names will change. So if I create an empty contact, that's what I was looking for, empty. I'm going to click on that. It is going to ask me to create a type. So once again, I'm going to select the type of individual I want to create for a buyer. And then I'm going to click Save. So right now we can see we have a contact in here for Edit Buyer. Once we get into the transaction, we can put Bob Buyer's name right inside the transaction. But this way, when you apply a template, you'll have some spots to add those individuals and those roles within your transaction. So again, I'll just go up to create an empty contact spot again. And then I'm going to choose it to be another buyer and then click Save. I'm going to show you what this is going to look like once we apply this to the transaction. And underneath that, we have documents and folders. So if I click on this, we're going to see that there are no documents and no folders available. So I'm going to click on Add Folders and Documents. So again, if I want to add a document, again, we have upload from device or computer or those cloud services as well. But I am going to drag and drop files here to upload. Once more, I'll click on that home inspection report, and we can see that it is uploading into TransactionDesk. Moving on to forms, if I open this box up, it is going to allow me to start adding to my template forms from my internal All Forms library. So once again, clicking plus, I'm going to click on Greater Lansing Association of Realtors, but again, your libraries will look different. And then I'm just going to start adding some just random documents. Let's just see here. All right, and I'm going to click Add. So now I've added some forms into this template. And last but not least, we have teams and sharing. Again, we do discuss teams and sharing in our advanced webinar, so I'm not going to go into details or specifics on here. But you've really now just successfully created a template. So now I'm going to move all the way back up to our transactions, and I'll open up that box there so we can see the navigation bar. I'm going to click on the house icon and create a new transaction and then apply this template to this transaction. So clicking on transactions, moving to the Add Plus button, you're going to see the Launchpad for Create New Transaction appear. The name is denoted by this red asterisk, and anything that has a red asterisk when you get to Launchpads, you have to type something in. I typically name my transactions after the property type, so I'm going to put in this particular address. Now, right below name, it does say template. This is where you're going to select the template that we just created. So I did name that July 2020. And then import data. So let's say, for instance, I want to use my MLS. Your MLS is your multiple listing service provider. So if I click on this, you will have access to different MLSs. Again, I'm in the state of Michigan, so I'm going to choose that Greater Lansing MLS. And once I do that, we are going to select the type And again, this is residential, but if you are working with rental property, you can again click on rental, vacant lot. So it's keeping that on residential. I am going to have to type that MLS ID number in. So I'm going to type this in. All right, and once I've typed that in, it says add me as, so as the agent. I can put myself as the listing agent, maybe the selling agent, neither or even both. I'm going to put myself as a selling agent, and I'm going to use the wizard. Now, the wizard again is that 5-step guide to helping you create your transaction successfully. So I'm going to click and keep this box checked on. And I do recommend for those that are new and you're just starting to learn Transaction Desk that you use the wizard as a guide and as a tool creating your transactions. All right, so I'm going to click on create. All right, so once I've done that, it is going to take us right inside of our transaction. So we can see the MLS has successfully been applied. We have a picture of that house along with the address, the name of the transaction on the very top. And then someone asked earlier about the status. We can see right now the status of this transaction is open. If I click the drop down arrow, it's going to give me access to other options I have for this particular transaction. So maybe I want to move this transaction from open to active. I can also lock this transaction as well by clicking on the lock pad. And then I can save this transaction or any changes that I'm making. And then email upload. Now I did show you another spot where you do have access to email. Email upload is different than your documents area. This particular envelope will allow you to upload documents or emails to this transaction. So if I click on the envelope, we're going to see an email address specifically for this transaction. So that's nice. Again, if you need to have documents directly uploaded onto this transaction, you would use this email address to get that document here. To the right, of course, we have our contacts, and then clicking on the ellipsis, the drop-down menu, is going to give you some more options on what you can do with this transaction again. Right below the picture, we do have the wizard. So you can see the wizard, and we can see step 1 out of 5 here. The wizard is guiding you on your way through creating your transaction. So on this first screen, we can see the details of the transaction. So as I move, we'll be able to see the listing information, the deposit if there is any, the purchase price, license numbers. All right, and again, I'm going to move and click on next. Clicking on next is going to show me my transaction dates. So again, if maybe I know the closing date, maybe the closing date's going to be, let's say tomorrow, July 28th. You're going to start putting all those dates in this area. If I clicked on next, we can even see the wizards keeping track of where we're at in our transaction creation. So wizard's showing me I'm under contacts and step 3 out of 5. So remember, we did add that template when we created the transaction, and now we have our buyers here. So from here, we can click on edit, and we can start to put that information in. We can put Bob, buyer right here, and click save. So now we'll see that our buyer is now inside of our transaction. Maybe he has a wife, we need to put her in as well. We can put Susie, and then we can put buyer here. All right, and again, if you need to add any more context to this area or individuals for the transaction, you can simply click on Add Plus. Now, let's say you're working hard in here, you're moving along, but you kind of veer off to the right here and you see these tools and you say, oh, there's documents. I need to add a document. And you click on that. What happens is it stops the wizard. You can see on top it says documents, and it's showing you that you're in your documents area, but it doesn't have that word wizard here or steps 1 through 5. Now, if you wanted to continue, maybe you want to click on forms, it's literally just taking you around within your transaction to all these different areas on the right. But maybe you want to get the wizard back. Maybe you want to keep on task just to know that you're filling out everything and you're not missing anything. You're going to click on that wizard, and again, you can see the wizard now appears and he's keeping track of your steps. All right, so same with forms. Again, we can see all of our forms from our forms library. And then clicking next once more, we can see documents. So we can see I have that home inspection report. Maybe I still wanted to add another document from an outside source. I can click on Add Plus, click on Drop and Add Files. Maybe I want to add that lead-based paint disclosure now. And we can see that that's now being uploaded. All right. So again, over to the right, we have that wizard. So if you lose your way on the step process, just click on wizard and he'll be happy to appear for you. And then we have, the dashboard. So again, if I want to click on the dashboard, it's going to take you to your transaction dashboard. The transaction dashboard is different than your agent dashboard. Each transaction that you create will have its own individual dashboard. All right, so again, you can see the details and all the steps that we took to create that transaction are all here on the right. Okay, I do have a few more slides I'm going to show you, so bear with me. I'm going to pause my screen. All right, so again, if you have any questions, I know there is quite a few here. All right, and I want to thank everyone for attending today. If you do need any help, you can reach out to my customer care line at 800-668-8768, support@instantnetsolutions.com. All right, and that actually is going to end the webinar today. I'm going to stop the recording, but I'm going to stick around to answer some of these questions. Thanks again, everyone, for hanging out with me today, and I appreciate you all being here.